Okay, so we're going to say over a very famous, Rashi brings a very famous Torah Kohanim, and we're going to try to say a nice insight here. Torah tells us in the beginning of Parshas Achareii that Hashem tells Moshe, Achareii, hence that's why it's called Parshas Achareii. Again, this is a continuation of Parshas Shmini, where Taka, the children of Aaron, other Aviyu, Achareii, after the death of Aaron's two sons, after they died, and then the Torah says why they died. Because they became close to Hashem. Maybe the next verse will explain what that means. And they died. Okay, coming close to Hashem is a good thing, but only in the ways of the Torah, not in your ways. If you do your own avodah, your own mitzvah, you think it's a good thing. I'm going to become close to Hashem in my way. That's not a good thing. Then it's vayimus.
That's how Reform Judaism started.
Okay.
Making your own path.
So Rashi brings a very famous Chazal. What's bothering Rashi? The Torah didn't really say anything. It said that Hashem told Moshe after the death of Aaron, his two sons, and then the next pasuk, Hashem tells Moshe to tell Aaron and the Kohanim this halacha, that you can't enter the Kachim Kachim, the Holy of Holies, whenever you want. You can only the Kohen Gadol can go on Yom Kippur with the whole procedure that it says later on. So Pasuk Aleph is not necessary. Just say Pasuk Beis. That Hashem tells Moshe to tell Aaron, tell the Kohanim the halachas of how you're allowed to enter the Kachim Kachim. Pasuk Aleph, verse 1, didn't really say anything. It was more of like an historical fact that this happened. Achareii Moshe and Aaron. We know that already. Aaron was already grieving for the death of his two sons. So when Hashem tells Aaron the halachas of how you're allowed to enter the Kachim Kachim, why does he have to mention this idea to repeat in Yiddish, Nachamo, Old Palm, Bivrit, the fact that Aaron's sons died? He knows his sons died.
Hashem told him like twice that his sons died.
That's what the Torah seems to be saying, that part of the tzivui is...
He's like rubbing it in?
No, so that's the question. Number one...
Oh, your sons are dead.
What are you rubbing it in for? Aaron knows. Aaron's grieving about it. He's so upset about it. Number two is what does he need it for? I mean, Aaron knows that. So Rashi brings the very famous Chazal. We'll read it because it's a very famous one. Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah, he used to give a mashal that one fellow goes to the doctor. The doctor tells him, don't eat cold food. Okay. And period. That's the end of the instructions. When you leave, you see Cindy on the way out. He goes, you see Cindy. Cindy gives him the bill. And Cindy's the secretary.
Where?
At the doctor's office.
Which doctor's office? Do you know
There's always one in every crowd. The fellow goes to the doctor, and
after the
evaluation, after the what's the word I'm looking for?
He also doesn't know.
After the
it's not just me.
After the examination, he says you'll go see Cindy on the way out.
I want it for the record.
So then, when he sees Cindy gives him the bill, of course, and the instructions. And all it says in the instructions is, do not eat cold food. That's case one. Case number two is that the same fellow, Johnny, goes to the doctor gives him the examination, and when he goes out, before he sees Cindy, Shmuel, he tells him, you can't eat cold food, because Chaim has the same disease that you have, and you know what? I told him not to eat cold food. He didn't listen to me. He had cold food, and he died. So now when does he tell him that? When he goes and he sees Cindy, Cindy gives him the bill, of course. After Cindy gives him the bill, Cindy says, and you know what happened? Chaim had the same disease that you're here for, and the doctor told Chaim not to eat cold food. He didn't listen, and Chaim died. Okay, so that's the second scenario. So we know the answer already. That's the mashal. What's the nimshal? Which one will be more, when he leaves the office, which fellow? The second one will be more enthused with this idea to listen to the doctor and not to have cold food. That's the famous mashal. So that's why Hashem tells Aaron, these halachas are not a joke. If you would just say, you can't enter the kachikacha whenever you want, that would be like number one, the first case. It was written down on the instructions. Cindy told him, or Aaron Cohen is probably from lady, Yocheved, his mother, not Yocheved was his mother, Sarah told him, you can't eat cold food. Shkoyach. But Hashem told Aaron, by the way, the last time this happened, okay, it was your sons, fine, but the last time this happened, when people entered the kachikacha whenever they wanted, the bad results. So you should know it's not a joke, and you can't enter the kachikacha whenever you want. The consequences are serious. That is the end of the medrash. What does this medrash bother you at all? Is there anything strange with this medrash?
He just warned them to not go into kachikacha. Isn't that what I just heard?
Right.
Or did I miss something?
No. The medrash is answering the question. The question that we asked was, why does Aaron need that? He knows his son died. Why is the Torah throwing that in? So the medrash is answering that question by saying that it's like the case of the doctor. When the fellow goes to the doctor tells him, don't do this.
Right.
The guy doesn't listen. Don't do this because Chaim had the same condition you have. Chaim didn't listen, and Chaim died. Then you'll be... So that's what Hashem's doing, says the medrash. He's telling Aaron...
That's why they died. Because they wanted to...
Your sons died because they thought that they could serve Hashem however they wanted, not the way the Torah says. And the same thing over here too.
Did Aaron not know that?
So, very good, Shmuel. Again, Shmuel Zaydel. Shmuel Zev, right? Shmuel Zev? Shmuel Zev Zaydel is mechaven to the kasha. Very good. The kasha is Aaron HaKohen. As they were saying Chavetz Chaim, how you talking? That Aaron HaKohen. We're talking about Aaron, the holy priest. He brought kabbanos every day. He was the Kohen Gadol. Aaron HaKohen needs to be reminded that his sons died, to influence them more, not to do this. It would be enough to say that mitzvah deraisa. You don't have to be less firm than my Kyiv kids. I make them get up for Wednesday night. So that's the question. You hear a regular person. What's the medrash talking about? A regular person needs that extra zrizus. If you just say don't eat cold food, you might not listen. So he needs the extra enthusiasm. That because you may not listen. Aaron HaKohen needs that? Let the Torah just say. These are the halachas. You can't enter the kachikacha whenever you want. Number one, Aaron doesn't need this extra zrizus. Aaron is like the first guy. You tell Chaim, don't eat cold food. That's enough for Aaron HaKohen. He doesn't need to be the second guy. When him and Cindy, or Sarah, whatever you want to call her, both remind him that, the last time this happened, people died. He doesn't need that. And also, what are you working in for? So you could say a gewaldige insight based on this medrash. And I told this to somebody, and they said that the Asmachav to one of the Gedolim for the last generation, Benach Leibowitz from Chavetz Chaim, and he said the same word. I'm going to say it now. Such a beautiful insight in typical Chavetz Chaim's kasha. That's where a lot of those shmuz are more. You have a medrash, and you'll say, "Is it possible? How you talking?" And what's the answer most of the time? But I'm going to say now. It is possible. It is. Vice dies. You see from here, such an amazing insight. Even Aaron HaKohen, the great Aaron HaKohen, no matter how you tell him something, makes a difference. Even Aaron HaKohen, if you tell him these are the halachas, of course he'll be influenced. He doesn't need the extra reasons. It would be enough to say, don't do this, and he would listen. But even Aaron HaKohen can be charged to do a mitzvah in a greater way.
How is it greater? He still knows not to go into the...
He knows not to go in,
okay.
But Aaron HaKohen, by hearing that extra... See, that was the nimshal.
90% chance he's not going to go. Now it's a 93% chance. But I thought he wasn't going to go in.
Wasn't going to go in.
He wasn't going to go in.
Aaron HaKohen, that was the kasha that we asked. Aaron HaKohen needs this extra reasons. There it is. There is no way where you're stuck when you say, I'm done. I can't grow more. I can't become more. I can't become more zrizus. It's a gewaltige insight. That even Aaron HaKohen,
saying like even like the Gadol Ador and
even the Gadol Ador can still become greater no matter how you give a message. And the Torah felt it was kedai, it was important enough to say Achareii Mos, even though Aaron knew that. So that was the question. It's taking a chance. Hashem is rubbing it in. Torah says Hashem felt that there's reasons that he would get by saying that was more important than the chance that maybe he would, what you call, rub it in. Why? Because the person, that was the mashal. The person gets more influence when things are told in a way where he gets more chizuk, where he gets more inspiration by it. So by telling Aaron the same thing, that the last time this happened, people died, he would be influenced more. Even he could be influenced more. No matter how great you are, you can always be influenced better by how something is said, with the intensity is said, even a great person. So if Aaron Achareii can be influenced better, or more, by the way something is said, for sure also, on a less level, can be influenced by the way something is said. So you want to give somebody mussar, it's a way to say it. It's a way to do it. If you felt you're not being treated appropriately on Shabbos, there's a way to deal with it. So what a great message for the beginning of the parsha.